From WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Champ with Janelle Saban and Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoitsky. My name is Paul Peck, and we are back at the Rapids Bowling Center for the second time in 3 months. There's a lot of things that are similar on this show. Back here at Rapids and back watching Jeremy Zimmerman try to continue his amazing 12-match winning streak.
I know, who thought that would have been done, 12 wins in a row, and it's quite an accomplishment. He's got his work cut out for him this month.
Yeah, he'll have some challenges, even though we're back at Rapids. We're on different lanes, we're on a different oil pattern, and he has got a murderer's row of bowlers to try to get through, some of the best we've ever had. Matter of fact, Sue, I looked it up. The veteran bowlers that are on the show the next month have combined for almost 40 wins. So he's going to have some real big-time guys to keep this streak alive.
Right, like every month here is different. So in this case, they chose to put out a sport pattern, as opposed to the house pattern that's been there before that Jeremy's only seen. So he has not seen this sport pattern yet. So it's going to be interesting on how that plays out.
Yeah, we've got some big names, Chuck Jagodzinski, Mike Zarcone, Mike Kemp. We even have the chance of there being a brother versus brother matchup this month on Beat the Champ. But as far as it goes with Jeremy Zimmerman, he's become a Buffalo hero and star, hasn't he?
He's famous around here at this point. We love seeing him on the show and can't wait to see what he does today.
So can the streak continue, the amazing record-setting streak for Jeremy Zimmerman? Well, it's time to find out. Let's get rolling.
Hi, I'm here on Beat the Champ with the winningest champ ever, 12 wins in a row. What's your thought process going into this week, being that you didn't get an opportunity to qualify here at Rapids?
Well, I came out for the qualifying to watch everywhere everybody was playing and really didn't have a feel for it, but I got to bowl on it a little bit yesterday, and I have an idea of where to start, at least go from there and see if I can build around where I'm comfortable playing in the lane.
So this time they put out a sport pattern, which is different than what you've seen in the past. So you did get an opportunity to throw a few balls on it then?
Yes, and it's somewhat tough for me, but we'll figure it out. That's what bowlers are supposed to do.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people gunning for you today, so the best of luck to you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
All right. I'm here on Beat the Champ with Marshall Lawrence, our high qualifier for today. First take on our champion, Jeremy Zimmerman. Since you're new to the TV show, we haven't seen you before, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up around in West Seneca in the Buffalo area. This year I took a year off from bowling in league just because I got a lot of stuff going on with my family and that stuff. So this year I'm just subbing. And my one friend asked me to come out and try out. So I came out and here I am now.
Well, that's excellent, because we really like to see some new faces, trying out for the show and getting an interest in the show. And did you know you'd be bowling on a sport shot when you came here to bowl?
No, I did not. I found that out when I walked in and threw the first couple and the ball didn't even move back. So I made a huge adjustment and made it through.
And we're the high qualifier on top of it.
Correct.
So you got our TV, right?
Yes, it's a huge accomplishment for me.
That's a huge accomplishment for anyone. So I hope you keep that going today. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
All right.
So here we go with our first match of our return trip to the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. Can Jeremy Zimmerman keep the winning streak alive? This is the guy that will try to put an end to it, making his Beat the Champ debut. He is Marshall Lawrence, 36 years old, from West Seneca, New York. And a great story in itself, Sue, that it's only the second or third time he's tried to qualify for the show and sort of did it on a whim. And not only does he do it on a whim, he makes the show and he winds up being our top qualifier.
Right, and to add to the story, he's not even bowling league this year. He's decided to take the year off, so he's not even sharp, and came out on a modified pattern here that isn't exactly a house shot and did well.
So he'll either be the 13th consecutive victim of Jeremy Zimmerman, or he'll pull off the upset of the year here if he can top the red-hot Jeremy Zimmerman. And there's the first throw for Marshall Lawrence. We are at different lanes here in Niagara Falls at Rapids Bowling Center than we were 2 months ago. And not only that, but we're on a different oil pattern as well, too.
Right, we're on the low end of the house where we've typically taped on the high end of the house, and there's always little variations, even even though I'm sure they oil the entire house the same way. certain sections of the house will definitely play different. And so they chose to mix it up and come to a different section of the house.
Right. And remember that Jeremy Zimmerman's consecutive win streak of 12 in a row actually started here, because again, we were here 2 months ago. So Jeremy wins his first 3 matches here on the other end of the house here at the Rapids Bowling Center, and then rattles off the 9 consecutive wins over at Classic Lane. So he likes this place. This place likes him, but we're at a different end of it and with a different oil pattern.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to matter.
No, that's a great shot, because he's actually, you know, from watching him warm up, he's actually not as comfortable as he normally is. So he's really going to have to make good shots and be outside his comfort zone, which makes it all that much tougher.
Can't tell you and emphasize enough what Jeremy Zimmerman has done. Just amazing, and partly amazing because it's not that it came out of nowhere, because we've seen Jeremy on the show and he's had some success, but I think anybody who wins 12 in a row comes out of nowhere, but just the way Jeremy did it and the way he bowled and some of the lucky breaks that he had and some of the lucky breaks that he created, it was amazing to watch.
Right.
You know, I hope everybody has had a chance to have seen the last 4 shows, at least the last 3 of the last 4 with Jeremy on it. It was compelling television. It was great sports. It was drama. It was just pretty amazing to watch it at any level of sport.
Well, I love what you said to him, because I overheard the conversation. Because, you know, as bowlers, we know good shots from bad shots, and we know when we need a shot and we maybe haven't made it. But you did tell him that he put himself in the position to be intimidating.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Keep in mind that Jeremy was under wraps to keep this as quiet as he possibly could. So, you know, so that as the shows were aired, it was actually new news.
Yes.
But I would say that, you know, Jeremy has had, you know, some challenges in the bowling world, and he got that one in. And what's happening here, and I'll
go ahead,
show it later when he's on lane 4. On lane 4, he's actually going a little bit more direct. For whatever the reason, on 3, he's missed. He's kind of wandered in a little bit with his feet and been too deep on the lane, and he doesn't have enough angle. So we'll see him make an adjustment as time goes on. But anyways, Jeremy's had, you know, some challenges in the bowling world, and this is a great way for him to earn the respect of his fellow bowlers, and I think that's inevitably what can happen. How could that not happen?
Absolutely, without question. I mean, what he's done has been amazing in any situation, but, you know, the fact that we've been on the air almost 2 years now, and we've seen almost all of the great bowlers in Buffalo come through this show, Jeremy's done things that none of them have done. You know, he has the most wins of any bowler that's been on the show, 1 more than Mike Zarcone, although Zarcone on next month's show will have a chance to match that. The winning streak, again, no one had won at 10 in a row, had been the longest winning streak, and I love the fact that the second longest winning streak on this show is 10 from Kevin Bianco. Who ended that streak? Jeremy Zimmerman with win number 1 of 12 in a row. So think about it. The last 22 matches on this show have been won by 2 guys.
2 people.
That's amazing.
And to add to that, the amazing of that is the challengers in all of that time were all veterans to this show.
Yes.
Mike Zarcone's been on it every week. We had Chuck Jagodzinski, who's been on it, I should say, every month.
Tony Dolan, Dave Tolkacz, Mike Kemp, a lot of guys we're going to see over the next month.
Right.
You know?
And so those are veterans to the show who know how to play the lanes, who are used to the cameras and the lights and our talking, and still could not beat him. Beat them, we should say, because it was 2 people. So even more of an accomplishment.
Right. And again, Marshall continues to struggle a bit here with another open frame in the 6th, as just having a little trouble here, he's having trouble leaving himself in spare position is what he's having trouble. That's a good shot.
There's nothing more frustrating than having kind of an over-under. He's going to, if he gets the ball going up the boards, it goes high. If he opens the lane up a little bit, he can't get to the pocket. There's only one thing you can do with that, and that is change bowling balls. And he has not yet even attempted to change bowling balls. This is a different bowling ball right here.
Yeah, and you can see, and you can see it in the frustration on Marshall's face that nothing is working right now. Even a single pin spare that, you know, should have been a gimme isn't going for him. And feel for him. you know, it's not unusual with first-timers on the show, and, you know, that it takes a little while for them to get used to everything around them, and then you add in a pretty difficult oil pattern to the challenge. And, oh, by the way, you know, facing the Tom Brady equivalent of Beat the Champ on the other side, you know. I'm sure I'll hear about that.
Yeah,
reference.
Jeremy's gonna have to tape that spigot because that might be the only time he's ever compared to Tom Brady. But
you know, in looking back over what Jeremy did in sweeping the month at Classic, I looked at the scores, and he averaged 225 in the 9 matches that swept his way through Classic. The low was 198. You know, so it was an incredible. He was anywhere between. He won one match at 210, but then everything else was in the 220s. There was a 260. The consistency from Jeremy was incredible, and that leads to putting the pressure on your opponent.
well, I think this is a good opportunity here to bring up bowling and scores. You know, everybody's, as bowlers are, you know, obviously scoring is indicative in any sporting event. You know, it's about scoring. But the thing about bowling is a good score can be 190. Like today, here on this fresh pattern, 190 is going to be a good score. So you can't get caught. You know, it's easy to get caught up in scoring for like league bowlers, but you do have to realize that you're on the same pattern as your opponent, and the trick is to knock more pins down than him. And what Jeremy's doing is keeping himself out of trouble until this pattern opens up a bit.
8-frame strike for Jeremy Zimmerman. I was going to say to you, I think you would probably say that average is more important than score, right? You know, I mean, again, these lane conditions may only promote slightly over 200 scores, but if you can go on a run and you can average somewhere, you never drop much below 190 or go above 220. If you keep it in a narrow average frame, that's usually what leads you to wins.
It's funny because this pattern is named because they do name the pattern. Now he changed
There's
balls.
a nice shot from
Right, he changed balls and he's seeing a little bit better read on the lane. This pattern is called middle road, and so I'm assuming by the name of it that it's supposed to be not too easy, not too hard. But what they're bowling on right now is typically what we were raised bowling on. We weren't raised on those pristine, perfect conditions, and that's what made Buffalo bowlers so great, is they were exposed to this type of pattern all the time and learned how to bowl on it. And, you know, as things changed and it became a competition to make higher scores, we've kind of lost this in the process.
Pretty good hit there for Marshall. He will leave that 2-pin and have to grab that first spare, but he's in a pretty good-sized hole right now against Jeremy Zimmerman. And he'll need a big comeback here over the final couple frames. Just ticks the side of the pin, the 2-pin, to get a 9th frame spare for Marshall Zimmerman. And Marshall Lawrence, Jeremy Zimmerman now with a chance to put this one away. Don't forget, top qualifier in the round of 24 each month here on Beat the Champ wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Chuck Jagodzinski was our winner this month. We will see him later on in this week's show. It's the second time Chuck's won a television here from Dirt Cheap TV.
Wow.
We're all going to Chuck's house to watch football on Sundays. Nice strike for Jeremy Zimmerman, and that will clinch the match and a 13th consecutive victory for Jeremy Zimmerman as he tops Marshall Lawrence. We'll come back and wrap it up when Beat the Champ continues from the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. First match here at the Rapids Bowling Center as Jeremy Zimmerman defeats Marshall Lawrence 181 to 161. Not only are you going up against the hottest guy in Western New York, but you didn't get a lot of breaks either.
No, I mean, by the time I started making the adjustments to get where I needed to be, it was just a little too late. So, I mean, it happens the first time being on TV. I'm just happy to be here.
Right. Pat's pushing everybody with the oil condition here today to give everybody a sense on what that was like.
It was definitely different. The lights definitely did play a factor with how everything was, you know, breaking down. It's just part of the breaks of bowling, you know.
Right.
Some go your way, some don't.
All right, well, you'll make them feel a little bit better, Pat, by compensating them for all of that, won't you?
Thank you.
You're very
All
welcome.
right,
You're
Pat
very
Donovan
welcome.
from the Rapids Bowling Center. Good debut here for Marshall Lawrence. The streak stays alive. Can Jeremy Zimmerman get 14 in a row? We find out next when we return to the Rapids Bowling Center here on Beat the Champ.
I'm here on Beat the Champ with Dave Tolkacz, who always has an interesting road to the show. Tell us a little bit about this one.
This week I qualified 25th out of 24 spots. Dana Vojtovic had to pull out of the competition because of a work engagement, so I took over the 24th spot and I made it into the roll-off and I qualified second, so that was pretty cool.
I know, it's amazing. You always have a good story on how to get here, and you always take advantage of it too. So you knew you were going to be on a sports shot when you came out this week?
Yeah, I qualified. The first time I tried to in the qualifier, I shot very poorly. It was like 5:07. But then the next time I came out, I had a different approach to playing the lanes, and I don't tend to do very well on higher volume patterns. So it's something I worked on, trying to stay behind the ball, add a little forward roll to it, so it reads the mid lane a little bit better. So that's something I've worked on, and it paid off.
All right, well, we're going to talk about that more while you're bowling because that's very interesting. So good luck today.
Thank you.
Have a good showing on Beat the Champ.
I will definitely try.
Match number 2 from here at the Rapids Bowling Center, and a good challenger for Jeremy Zimmerman in that gentleman, Dave Tolkacz, making his 4th appearance on the show, an overall record of 5 wins and 1 loss, and Dave knows how to go on winning streaks. He won 5 in a row earlier this year at Tonawanda and Alley Brandt, so this is among the better tests for Jeremy Zimmerman, an outstanding bowler in Dave Tolkacz, and first throw means he's trying to figure out the lane pattern too.
Yeah, this is, we're still in that stage of smoothing these lanes out, so it'll be interesting to watch these guys adjust, but the first match, you know, Jeremy competed against a left-hander, so now we've got 2 guys on even footing here on this, playing the same part of the lane.
See if Dave can slide it over and pick up a nice spare. Dave Tolkacz is able to do that in the first frame. Good start for the 39-year-old from Buffalo, Dave Tolkacz.
Well, challenging on this is also spares, because those multiple pin spares, these lanes don't play like they would normally play. The straighter they go at them, the better, but when you go straight at multiple pin spares, that's where you get the chops.
You know, and I'm sensing that we're not going to see quite as many strikes as we might normally see, so that turns the spare game into the real key for this one. Did you even notice Jeremy changed his shirt midway through the match there? I didn't even notice until he brought it up. He had the blue shirt with his name on the back to start the match, and he said he was sweating so much that he had to go and change shirts. I think that's the lucky shirt he was wearing for a good part of the match at Classic, so I'm not surprised about that. And we know it's the same lucky blue and orange ball that got him most of those wins as well, too.
Hey, well, kudos to him for you know, keeping his wits about him, because now the pressure's kind of shifted to him as the champion. You know, it's equal parts nerve-wracking when now the expectation to win is so big. You know, all eyes on you.
And we talked about it the other way around. We talked about it the other way around before with the pressure being on the opponent of how do you can you get intimidated by matching up against Jeremy, but I guess we probably shouldn't lose sight of the fact that he now has facing the pressure of keeping this streak alive and the pressure of now being the greatest Beat the Champ bowler that we've had so far. That can be a lot of pressure to live up to as well also.
Absolutely. I mean, that streak, you know, we thought the 10 was going to be hard to beat.
Well, keep in mind that no one had more than 6 until Kevin Bianco had the 10, and then no one had more than 10 until Jeremy beat Kevin Bianco and then went and won the next 13 in a row.
Yeah, and now it's just, you know, how long can this go on? I mean,
I didn't think we would ever see anyone sweep a month and win 9 in a row like Jeremy did at Classic. So everything here is brand new territory. He will need a single pin spare here to grab a second frame spare. And he gets it. Nice round of applause from the crowd here at the Rapids Bowling Center for Jeremy Zimmerman. And now back to Dave Tolkacz, who, as I mentioned, has had a good amount of success on this show recently, so far earlier this year. Right in the pocket and nails all 10 pins.
Wow, what a great shot. Definitely approached the lane a little bit different.
Well, again, there's an example of good bowlers. Takes them maybe a frame or two to figure out what the lanes are going to do, and then they're off and running. Dave bowls pretty much every night of the week. Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays in leagues around Western New York. No, he didn't like this one, and he missed the pocket, and that's why. Tonawanda lanes, transit lanes, Kenmore lanes, travel league. That's where you'll find Dave Tolkacz pretty much almost every night of the week.
Well, how embarrassing, he bowls in my league on Wednesdays, and I haven't said anything to him yet.
Well, there you go. You know.
We haven't got.
You are the hostess with the mostest, so you better get to work on that. Good spare pickup for Dave. There you go, spares, all about the spares, right? It's going to stick in my head because I think you are right on.
Yes, staying out of trouble and making those spares. And, you know, I don't know if leaving 4-pin spares is truthfully staying out of trouble because they can be challenging. But
unless you can make them.
2 great pickups there.
Jeremy Zimmerman, frame number 3. Nice strike.
Perfect.
Nice smooth stroke.
Right.
You know, confident. You know, you can just see that he's locked in right now.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
8th frame now. Never got any hook, too far right, so no hook, correct?
You know, it's so easy to sit back here and see it, but he's walking, and the ball return will be, it's not an obstacle, but it's still there in your peripheral vision, as opposed to having nothing on the right lane on your right hand side, because he's walking too far left. He's drifting in, and he hit his target, but his feet were way deeper than they should be. So, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, you just perception's different because you've got that ball return on your right, but consistently on lane 3, he's walking deeper on the lane.
What a spare. 1-2-7 spare pickup in the 8th frame. That's why he's our #1 bowler on Beat the Champ. That was a great shot. Not to interrupt you, but I saw the significance of that.
Yep, that was a great shot.
A 1-2-7 spare pickup. Lots of wobble, but those 2 pins won't go down, the 3 and the 6.
So that's not really what Dave wanted to see. Dave moved everything in. He got away from that strip on the outside that he was hitting and the ball wasn't recovering. He moved everything in, cut a little bit short, went high. So he's still not in a comfort zone on lane 4. What's weird is that Jeremy has actually better ball reaction on lane 4 and he's struggling on lane 3, and it's directly the opposite for Dave because they throw it so different. 5-pin match here.
Still a close one, still up for grabs. Can Dave Tolkacz start a winning streak of his own and end the 13-in-a-row streak of Jeremy Zimmerman?
Oh, way to the right. Yeah, that's no man's land on this.
So you can't be too far to the right is what you're saying.
No, if you're going to open the lane
Second
up,
arrow, right? You said you got to be on that second arrow.
So because of his rotation, he likes to go through the heads a little bit left to right. but it's going to have to be a very small distance. He's not going to be able to open it up like that and have it recover.
Spare in the ninth frame for Dave Tolkacz.
This is going to come down to whoever makes the first mistake. I hate to say it.
Ninth frame now for Jeremy Zimmerman. You get a look at the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, tells you the story, how tight this one is heading for Jeremy into the ninth frame.
Whoa, inside his target.
Wow.
Got lucky there. He liked it too.
You didn't think that was going to happen, huh?
He was inside his target, but he does wander to the left. I mean, when he walks, he doesn't walk straight. So in that case, it was he walked to the right spot and hit the right spot on the lane. But that's iffy out there. We want to be relying on that.
You know what? Again,
Hey.
as we've said, the bowling gods are looking down upon Jeremy over the last 2 months. So even when things aren't exactly right, the results are still there. That was a big ninth frame strike for Jeremy Zimmerman. So now he needs to finish strong here, put the pressure back on Dave.
Well, strike here and good count is going to be what he needs to shut this match down. Oh, again.
Boy, it's such a razor-thin margin right now of if you're just a little bit off on that target, you're not getting any help, and that's what happens. So
It's so hard.
Once again, a 1-2-7 spare facing Jeremy Zimmerman.
It's so hard to sit back here and watch him do the same thing every single frame. He's walking into his target and then still trying to throw it up 10, and he's going left to right. And Jeremy's game is not left to right, straight up the boards.
Got it again. Another big 1-2-7 spare pickup. The second time in the last 3 frames for Jeremy Zimmerman. That is clutch.
Yeah, counts big here because he can finish. Dave can still finish with a 184 if he strikes out. So he knows that he needs every pin that he can get here to force him to double and get good count.
The winning streak on the line right here, this frame. Crucial that Jeremy Zimmerman comes up big.
Well, no matter what Jeremy does, Dave's still going to have a chance to beat him. That's good.
9 pins. So a final score on the board of 180 for Jeremy Zimmerman. And again, don't be surprised by that. Our scores are going to be a little lower this week. So now, what is Dave Tolkacz need?
2 strikes and 7 pins.
2 strikes and 7 pins needed for a win to end the winning streak. That's what faces Dave Tolkacz. He does not get it, and you can see his reaction, how close that was. Not close enough. And once again, Jeremy Zimmerman finds a way to win. I don't know how else to say it. He finds a way to win.
Well, here's the amazing thing about what just happened. Dave went up and made the best shot he could possibly make on a lane that he has struggled on all day, and left a true tap of the 9 pin. I mean, there's bowling for you in a nutshell.
180 to 162. Jeremy Zimmerman gets 13 wins in a row. Oh, Dave, this game can wear you out sometimes, can't it? You felt like you threw a perfect shot right there in the 10th frame, and you needed a strike, and that one pin just didn't go down. Take me through that.
Well, I mean, if it comes down to making one shot, and it did because of that washout that I left, and then I only took one off. If I manage to mark there, then it doesn't come down to that shot. You do not want to be up in the 10th frame needing a strike. And that was, pretty much what lost me the game.
Right, as well as Jeremy is bowling, and maybe because he's bowling so well, he's getting a little bit of a lucky breaks. How do you as an opponent go into a match against a red-hot guy like that?
Well, I mean, the luck has a tendency to even out. I've had my fair share of the good and the bad, and, I was lucky to make the show. I was lucky to make the top 24 because Dana pulled out. It evens out, so, you just kind of got to wait it out.
Right. Well, it was a good performance. It was a great match. Pat Donovan from the Rapids Bowling Center.
Again,
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good bowling out there. We put something tough out there, and it's definitely showing right now.
Yes,
so.
yes, it is. It is pushing these guys to the limit, which is making for some great bowling. Got another one that figures to be great coming up next. We continue with Beat the Champ from the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. We're back right after this.
I'm here with Chuck Jagodzinski, taking on our champion Jeremy Zimmerman with 12 wins. You haven't been the luckiest bowler out there, but it's not going to be about luck today now, is it?
Nope, because it's a sports shot, so there's only 1/700 at Rapids, which is very unusual.
So to get it out there for the people, a sports shot is going to be a lot more challenging and have to make much better shots than, say, maybe on a house pattern, which might be a little softer.
Yeah, the house pattern's medium to easy, but this makes your spares a double, one triple. You should be fine.
All right, so just so everybody knows, scores might be a little lower, maybe not, but maybe a little bit lower, but it's going to be about shot making today, right?
Yep, all about shot making the spares.
All right, we know you're good at that, so good luck today.
Thank you.
Well, one of Jeremy Zimmerman's biggest tests in this 14-match winning streak will come right here against the veteran bowler and the very successful bowler, Chuck Jagodzinski. Should be a great match to wrap up our first week here at the Rapids Bowling Center. 10th appearance on the show for Chuck Jagodzinski. His 8 wins on the show in the top 10 of all the bowlers that have bowled here on TV. And this one's going to be an interesting test for Jeremy. And you can see how Chuck will take a little while to get himself figured out as well, too. And for some expert commentary, particularly on the lane conditions, we welcome in from the Rapids Bowling Center, Pat Donovan here to join us for this match. And good first frame spare for Chuck Jagodzinski. So you wanted to push these guys a little bit, Pat, didn't you?
We did, and we've tested the shot out a lot with some of our junior bowlers and our high school bowlers in the past, and it's very interesting. It really depends on how it breaks down and how all the guys are playing. So far so good for Jeremy, I guess.
Yeah, so far, even though the scores have been not where we might normally have seen them, he at least has been able to get a better handle on this. First frame for Jeremy Zimmerman. And that's a little bit of a different leave, Sue, than we've seen him do before.
A little bit of a different bowling ball. Jeremy switched balls.
Hey, didn't he learn his lesson on that one? The last time he did that, I thought he was going to take that other ball and throw it through the window and never see it again. So
I'm predicting we don't see a lot of it, but
he's back to the orange and blue one for the spare pickup, and he gets it here. So
I go back to the fact that that ball that we just saw him throw the spare with, and the one he usually throws is the one that is the most predictable for him, and I do believe that ball he just threw is back.
It is now a spectator ball right now. Yes.
Timeout.
Yeah, there you go. That's it's got the best seat in the house, and that's exactly where it's going to stay. And looked good right over the second arrow there again, and just one pin hanging up there. So these guys are still finding their way through, aren't they?
Pat, what we've seen today is a lot of going light on lane 3.
Yep.
And I see Jeremy has been walking a bit to the left, and he's actually been kind of going back to his target, which
Yeah.
you can't do.
Oh no, on this you need to stay. If you're going to square up, you need to stay square, and you need
Correct.
to just attack that 10 if that's where you're going to play. Because I mean, you start pushing outside of 10, as you know, it's there's no recovery out
Right.
there.
So second frame now for Chuck Jagodzinski. Again, his 10th appearance here on the show, 8 wins and 6 losses. The last time we saw Chuck was here at the Rapids Bowling Center when he was one of the victims of the 10-match winning streak for Kevin Bianco. There's a nice strike. Second frame for Chuck Jagodzinski.
It's funny when you watch Chuck stand up on the approach, you think he's playing like, oh my God, he's playing the gutter, he's playing the one board. And then he also drifts to the left and is actually playing 10, which seems to be the right spot.
Yeah, that seems to be where it's breaking down now. It's actually interesting. Chuck's throwing 2 different bowling balls, so he's recognized the difference already.
But he's able to stay in the same spot.
Exactly,
And
yep.
he also played 10 on lane 3
Yep.
here. And this is, honest to God, the first bowler that I've seen can hit 10 on both lanes. And I don't know what the obstacle is, whether it's the ball return, the longer ball return on your right being a bit of a, just something in your peripheral vision that makes you walk away from it.
There's the first. That's the nicest one of this early match for Jeremy Zimmerman. Big strike in the third frame. Again, it's a 14-match winning streak for Jeremy Zimmerman, an overall record here on Beat the Champ of 15 wins and only 3 losses. And this winning streak started here 2 months ago. First 3 wins, then 9 wins at Classic, and now 2 wins again back here at the Rapids Bowling Center. And this record-setting, amazing streak, we'll see if it continues. It has so far.
Much better. So that lane, even though he didn't wander as far as that one, this lane's definitely tighter down the lane for these guys.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think, Pat, we talk a lot about the fact that it's nice to see these guys be challenged a little bit. You know, I mean, it's the house patterns are great, and the 220s and the 240 scores are fun and awesome to see. But these guys are so good, it's nice to see them be pushed a little bit.
Yeah, and we had good results last time when you guys were here a couple months ago, so that's why we went back to not doing a house shot again. We went back to something a little more challenging, and honestly, we've still had good results, really.
Yeah, oh yeah. But, you know, I think that the bowlers in this town, and you know, Sue will back me up on this, are so smart and so talented, and they're beyond just good bowlers. They're smart thinking bowlers, and it's nice to make these guys think a little bit.
Yes, it is.
Chuck's not thinking about anything other than strikes right now, which is 3 in a row for him. He knows what it's like to put a string of wins together, a 5-match winning streak back in 2016 at the Jamestown Bowling Company for Chuck Jagodzinski.
Wow.
And there's 4 in a row.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
So you can see that strikes need to start coming, as you said, Pat. They need to start coming. They need to start coming now for Jeremy Zimmerman. But don't put it past him. He's responded to every other challenge.
Good shot.
There you
So
go.
he got the speed on that right
Yep,
lane, so
yep. Do that one harder.
that was definitely key for him right there.
So let's see now. He'll stick with the blue and orange ball. Now you're not liking that, are you? I think your reaction tells us what we need to know, right?
I was really very curious to see what he would do there. I'd like to say I think he's moved a bit to the right, but he drifts too. It's hard to say.
Is it the right ball choice?
He got it there
Yeah.
because he did move right on the lane. Much more angle.
Yeah, but it still didn't have that power
No.
finish to it that
No, it
he
didn't.
really needs.
So it's an 8th frame spare for Jeremy Zimmerman. And the margin remains sizable for Chuck Jagodzinski. Has his wife Michelle and his son Noah cheering him on here at the Rapids Bowling Center. And another strike for Chuck. It's already been a good trip up here to Niagara Falls for him. He came away with the dirt cheap TV for being the top qualifier in the round of 24. And every month on our stops at the Beat the Champ, whoever is that top 24 qualifier gets that television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Little miss of the pocket there for Chuck Jagodzinski.
I was just going to say what Chuck needs here is a spare. Right before he went up and washed out. So he can still make this, but it's a challenging spare.
So a spare on this one clinches the win.
As long as he keeps it on the lane in the 10th frame. He's going to make us wait another frame for that.
He is definitely going to do that, and there might be some mojo left in the tank here, so I guess we'll have to wait and see.
So much like it usually does, it's going to come right down to the end here.
Well, nothing without a strike. I mean, Jeremy has to strike out now. There's just no margin for error.
Nope.
So here it is. Must be a strike for Jeremy Zimmerman to keep his streak alive. 10th frame, 9th frame, correction. And that will bring this amazing run for Jeremy Zimmerman to an end. And we can't tell you how incredible it has been to witness it and watch it. And regardless of what's happened here in this match, what Jeremy Zimmerman has done has been beyond belief, comprehension, amazement. But the streak is over at 14 in a row as Chuck Jagodzinski is the first guy in 2 months to figure out how to solve Jeremy Zimmerman. And a smile on the face for Jeremy, and he should be smiling. And a wave to the crowd. This has been incredible to watch. You knew it was going to come to an end at some point. We have enjoyed being a part of the ride. It has been amazing to watch.
It took some very, very smart bowling, though, on Chuck's part. That was just great decision making for him. It took a lot to bring Jeremy down.
Final on the board of 181 for Jeremy Zimmerman, but it will not be enough as Chuck Jagodzinski will finish this out. And the veteran bowler, Chuck Jagodzinski, is going to get a huge win here. Can't wait to talk to both guys to get Jeremy's reaction to having this come to an end and talk to Chuck about what he did to make it come to an end. And, you know, again, incredibly consistent for Jeremy, 181, 180, 181. 2 times that was enough to win, not in this match.
Yeah, and as I was watching the first couple matches, I said to myself, I can't wait to see somebody go inside. And Chuck finally got enough of that hand to go inside a little bit more on him. And, I mean, the results show.
Well, as we told you at the beginning of the broadcast, this was a murderer's row of outstanding Buffalo bowlers, and if Jeremy could get through all these guys, it would be an even more amazing accomplishment. But it's not a surprise that one of those sluggers of Buffalo bowling, Chuck Jagodzinski, comes up with the 223 to 181 victory. Again, we'll let it all soak in, and it's a huge win for Chuck, and it's the end of this incredible 14-match winning streak for Jeremy. We'll talk to both guys when we return and wrap up our first week stay here at the Rapids Bowling Center. You are watching Beat the Champ. 223 to 181, the final score of this one as Chuck Jagodzinski comes up with the win to end the amazing 14-match winning streak. Jeremy, just reflect a little bit on what you've been able to do the last 2 months.
It started here with one lucky break 2 months ago, I believe it was. And, I mean, to explain last month still, I can't believe all the breaks that I got from all the bowlers. And then today, the second game, again, it was like, here we go again. But the magic ran out, and it's okay because it was a heck of an experience to win 14 in a row.
How much different of a bowler are you now? How much more confident of a bowler are you now?
Confidence through the roof. I mean, I let myself down there, but that happens, and I just got to come back next month at Island, Mullet's Lanes.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Which is where you're pretty comfortable at too. So Chuck already, he's got a nickname for himself over here on this one, right, Sue?
What's that, Chuck?
Legend killer.
Well, it's nice to see a smile on your face, and as well, you should have a smile on your face. Challenging lane condition, 2 different balls, 2 different lanes. How'd you make that decision so fast?
Because the left lane was way tighter, so I used a more dull ball on there. But it's still paralyzed, but that still really didn't work that well. But first 200 on this today, so.
You bowled great, Chuck, so good luck going forward.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you can't be a legend killer unless you reach legendary status, which is what you did. Pat, make everybody feel a little better here.
All right, Jeremy, congratulations again. We'll see you back hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
Right, and we know we're going to get a little more of Chuck on next week's show. Sue and I will wrap up our first week stop here at the Rapids Bowling Center. When we return, pretty cool stuff here on Beat the Champ. Stick around. We're back right after this. Well, what a great match to wrap things up. A couple of great champions, but again, the opportunity to reflect a little bit on what we've seen over the last 2 months, which Jeremy Zimmerman did things that we didn't expect anybody to be able to do.
Right, what an accomplishment. I mean, it took a sport condition and someone that had the wherewithal to use 2 different balls on 2 different lanes to actually take him down. And there's not much more you can say about what a great job he did.
Yeah, we're off to an interesting start here at the Rapids Bowling Center, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we can see, who knows what's going to happen next, you know? I mean, is he going to go for 15 or 16? Who knows?
We seem to be on a trend of streaks here, so maybe that's what we're headed to, Janelle. And Chuck's already come up a big winner even beyond that match.
Right. He won our TV from Dirt Cheap TV. He was the top qualifier this month, so that's another reason just to come out and try out, because you never know, you could even leave with a TV.
Yeah, so and based on the way things have gone, we could kind of expect Chuck Jagodzinski to maybe win 15 in a row, right?
Who knows?
Well, not to put too much pressure on him. The only way you'll find out is make sure you watch next week. Chuck Jagodzinski, our lead bowler, when we return for week 2 at the Rapids Bowling Center. We'll see you next week from Niagara Falls.